Welcome. Got a whole stack of books here to review, recap for the month of August. I don't normally do these. I do kind of like one book a week reviews, but a little bored. A lot of people doing their recap, so I'm jumping on a little bandwagon here for this month. First. So this is basically an alien invasion story. This was gearing up to be my favorite thing of the year. The first few chapters of this are just spectacular good. It ends great. The characters are great. Unfortunately, there was a lot of technological mumbo jumbo that just brought the whole thing down. There's going to be more. This is not a standalone, but I'm not going to get them just because this just was very hard to get through in places. And I stuck it out because the characters were interesting. What they were doing was interesting. Aliens just run the galaxy, come to Earth looking for an artifact, and all hell breaks loose. And there's I guess you could call him a CIA type guy running the show, trying to play both sides and maybe turn the Earth over to the aliens, or maybe not. And then everybody's butting heads over it. And it's just 5-star start, 4-star ending. The rest kind of, oh well, what are you gonna do? This book here, I think everybody who read this book loved this book. I said in a video of it that it is as pretty on the inside as it is on the outside. This is the cover of the month right here, this book, The Spell Shop. This woman who is a librarian in a magical land has to flee as the city is ransacked by rebellion. And she goes to the country of her birth, an island, and gets a found family storyline going on here, a little bit of romance in here. And she has to do magical research to help them out, but doesn't want to reveal herself in case people from the city that she ran from come hunting her down. And this is just a good book to read right there. Sarah Beth Durst. This is another one everybody talks about. From the makers of The Expanse, The Mercy of Gods. Another alien invasion. This time, oh boy, do they get us. But this is not Earth. Earth is in the distant past, and so a generation ship of some sort took them to another star, and generations have gone by since they landed. Their technology is not that much more advanced than our own. And so when the aliens come who rule the galaxy, it's not much of a fight. And they take a group of people, a bunch of scientists, and say, you got a task, go get to it. What they didn't realize is that they were part of a rather loose competition until they get attacked and start losing members. Then they have to fight back. And when they complained to it about the higher-ups, they're like, well, whatever, you got to fend for yourself. And so we got a great intro book for a trilogy, and I am looking forward to this. I said earlier this was going to be tied for my book of the year, but not quite. The other one still holds up, which I'll talk about some other time. I've mentioned it enough in these videos. I'm going to just bore people with it. But this may be a second place, maybe third, because there's another one I'm sitting on here for book of the year. This one here, this has got people so mixed up. The Dead Cattail Assassins. So there's some people who really love this. I don't think I read about anyone truly hating it. It's just that, like me, there's a bunch of us that said, well, this is kind of good. It's fun in places. Everybody's a smart ass. It seems to have followed the formula brought to us by Guardians of the Galaxy. Just everybody mouthing off, and you've got a task to perform. It just didn't... There's parts of it that just kind of took me out of it a little bit. It just... Maybe, and it's good that it was short, because I think if it was much longer, it would have kind of wore on me a bit. But I liked it. Let's call it a 3-star book, but it just didn't blow me away. And this is someone who, there are rules to being an assassin, and she's not so much undead like a vampire, but she was risen from the dead to take on this aspect, and she's got better abilities, and she is given a task of killing a younger version of herself. And so you have a little time mix up here. And I don't know. I'm all about the assassin genre. And like many assassin books, I want to see assassins doing some assassinating, and you really don't get that. Anyone paying attention? Usually a lot of assassin books, in fact, well, we got to train you to fight. And they never get to the training of the assassin part. And this is no different. You like Star Wars? You like Star Wars? You like Star Wars. So this right here, this is Star Wars in fantasy setting. So this is which one's? Emperor of Ruin is the third one, and that's the one I read for the month. It's just that there are 2 other books to show you right there. And literally speaking, the idea seems to be that part of the inspiration for them was that in Phantom Menace we learned that young kids who show talent in the Force can get scooped up by the Jedi with permission from parents. Everybody has to consent. So the idea is to take the propaganda against them and say, well, no, they're child kidnappers. And so in the beginning of the first book, there is someone who shows powers, but he comes and takes her, and in a murderous fashion, and hurts her brother. And the brother decides to, let's call it, I guess, join the forces of evil, or perhaps there's a lot of gray working there. Brother against sister, Jedi against, if you don't know what their name is, it's called Yuzang Vong, who are these, they control biology and go to war against the Jedi. And that's what happens in here. There's even an old ancient villain who gives a speech, we're doing away with the Republic and forming an empire. All in this, all Star Wars. Even their troopers, their legionnaires, are dressed in white. But it is its own animal. It's not just a big rip-off, and it delivers very well. And a good finish to that trilogy there. So this is what I read this month, Prison of Sleep by Tim Pratt. It is a sequel to this one, Doors of Sleep by Tim Pratt. I liked this one better. This one's still very good to read. People who have read this and become a fan of it will tell you that aside from the main character, there are a couple of characters who steal the show, and they're just not in this one anywhere near as much. They are in there, but they don't take center stage like they should have. Thankfully, this is a duology, and no, the opposite. Unfortunately, it's a duology, and he's not going to do more. So this fellow falls asleep, and when he wakes up, he's in another world. He's in another dimension. And he can take people with him as long as when they both go to sleep, he's got his arms around them. And that's the only way he can travel take them from world to world. Some of these worlds are dangerous, and he takes sedatives to try to knock himself out real quick so he can just wake up and get to the next world. He is pursued by a megalomaniac in this first book. In this one, the villain is a rather cosmic horror super being who exists between all the spaces between the doors, and he wants to do everyone a favor and stop their suffering by killing everything alive in the universe. Simple. I then gave this a shot. The Amber Chronicles, got the whole 10-book collection. This I got because I knew someone who called this their favorite, and we had in common a love for the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, the Unbeliever. So I figured, well, if he likes this, maybe I will too. And I do. But I only got to the first couple books. They're pretty good. They didn't blow me away. It's very interesting reading, and there's a few epic moments in there that I really like, and I'm always going to remember. On the back burner for now. I'll probably get to them. Do in no small part too. I guess when you're going to do YouTube videos, you do want people to watch. You can't rely on people, if you're going to get a lot of views, good. If not, well, oh well. But if nobody's really watching, then the videos I did really either didn't do too well, so oh well. But I intend to go on with them, read them sporadically here and there when I feel the need. Next up came Fleet Champions. This is third in a series of 6, but there are only 3 out. Titan Hoppers, Spider Climbers. This is so much fun. These are young adult, and me and young adult books don't mix. But I got these shown to these by Andrew at Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and hopped on that, and just loved them. Oh, they're so good. So Earth is, again, another Earth distant past thing. Ships went out to, because they found these things called, what they call Titans, but they're basically just these large planetoids drifting through the universe. And they now have to rely on those things for the resources because they don't have any place else they can go. They haven't mentioned too much about it yet, but this it seems to me that they do not have faster than light travel, or else they'd just be able to get from star to star and use resources from those solar systems. So they are very dependent in deep space on these Titans. The problem is the Titans are loaded with monsters and traps. Whoever made them is long gone, so it's just a chaos of hardship, as sometimes they aren't able to get those resources, and ships are falling apart, and there is a ruling class, and there's corruption in that ruling class. Everyone relies upon hoppers. These are people who are identified at a young age to manifest powers. Right here, look, these things called crests manifest. Here we have Eero, and that is his sister's sword. There's stories of legacy here, and there's stories of abuse here between characters, and their ability to overcome that trauma. These start out a little cardboard here, and then they start peeling away the layers, and you get good character-driven young adult storytelling. These are really good, and I am on this one right now. I will do a video on this one later this week, and along with that, the other thing I picked up, Blame, this manga. So at the moment, what you'll hear about this, people will tell you there's not a lot of dialogue in this, and they are correct. What you get is a visual feast, because the author was an architect and apparently likes science fiction, and I'll put that up as close as I can. This is a mega structure that apparently is far larger than the Earth. In the video that prompted me to want to start reading this, she mentions that it's the size of something like the orbit of Jupiter. It's just gigantic, and it's just this chaos of creation. These things that are automatically building it. I'm not sure they're getting the mass for it yet. This reveals a little bit of the story that this guy here is after this type of gene that allows people to interact with what we would have called the internet, and with that they can shut down the expansion of this megastructure. And there's people, cyborgs, and these silicon-based beings. Everybody's button heads. He has this amazing gun that when he fires it, whatever he hits is doomed. And it's cool. The thing about artwork and manga, if you go through a store and go through a wall of manga, just start flipping them up and looking through them, some of the artwork is kind of not a big deal. The artwork, it is astounding to look at. I read One Piece, and very good artwork in One Piece, but I do, to save myself money, I look at it on my phone. And when I looked at this, I'm like, no, I want this big physical book in my hands. I want to see it that way. I could look it online and blow it up on the computer screen, but even that's not the same. I want the physical item in my hand most of the time. And so I'll do a video on that. And this is a volume 1 master edition. I think it says this is the first 6 issues. I have volume 2. I ordered it, and I'm getting that tomorrow. So that will be next, along with this. And just a little TBR, I am going to do a reread of the Dresden Files first book. Long ago, I remember liking it, but I didn't continue the series. But I'm gonna give it a go and possibly jump on a Discord if I feel I really want to continue it. I even already bought the second one. And that's it for me. That is the month of August, and see you later this week for another book review of this and Blaine, these 2 right here. Hint, I'm enjoying them a lot. And that's it. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Oh, I missed the button again. That's the second time this month.